Going on the first games only, would you put Sly Cooper at the same table as Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter? The elite platforming games of the PS2 generation weren't just about tight controls, varied worlds and collecting items. They had to be more. They didn't just need heart, they needed character. I adore the two series that sit easily at the top of the pile, savouring their beer and enjoying the view from the summit. Naughty Dog's Jak and Daxter rewrote what was possible. They went back to formula, develop an in-house infrastructure that allowed a seamless 3D world with no loading screens. They mastered attention to detail, and humour that tickled even the driest bush.
Hey baby, what do you say you and I go cruising?
Insomniac's Ratchet and Clank crammed a coming-of-age story into a sci-fi setting, featuring unique planets, wild characters, and even wilder weapons. It wasn't just a platformer, it was its story, varied arsenal, and incredibly put-together cast.
Hi, I'm Captain Quark, and believe me, there's nothing worse than staring down a Blargian snagglebeast from the inside.
But in 2002, Sucker Punch released a video game that snuck through my gaze. I must have been too busy being cool, riding golf buggies, visiting strip clubs and listening to 80s music. But now, I have a chance to make amends.
In this life or the next.
Playing Sly Cooper for the first time opened my eyes to an absolute gem. However, like my Jak and Daxter video, I'm going to start with the Britters. Since it's a well-made game, these are mainly minor annoyances, and are by no means game-breaking. Hiding the keys behind annoying minigames that play with your mental state. I know that variation in video games is necessary, and the trope of minigames or alternate sections in platformers that take the player away from the core experience isn't new. Still, I feel the developer Sucker Punch does, with the selection at hand. They break into cosy, stressful and nightmare minigames. The cosy ones are the ones which slide man to turret, be it stationary, riding a vehicle in arenas or along linear areas. No drama, no timer, no fuss. The stressful missions are the blasted races with Murray, at the dog track, which I attempted 4 times. According to a discussion on Reddit, 4 attempts was some kind of record. Luckily there are only 2 races, the second one in China being the easiest. Then we have the living nightmares, where time seems to speed up, particularly lighting the torches with piranha oil and killing chickens. Were evil at first, but after several tries you get there after sacrificing a small part of yourself. At least the game has the courtesy not to burn lives during these mini missions. So you have your whole life ahead of you to figure out a strategy. I understand why they're in the game, but unfortunately they are the weakest link, and just feel like filler. The dialogue from the Fiendish 5, some of these characters are annoying. Well, one of the characters I found particularly painful was Ms. Ruby. Her voice grated, but that's all personal opinion. It doesn't detract from her stage in Haiti. It was just hard to hear her talk.
I see your mouth moving.
And now I immediately feel harsh saying it out loud. The hub is the base from which new missions are unlocked after completing the previous one. The hub provides options to go back, re-watch the cutscenes and interact with Murray. Yep, that sums up Murray. Just keep eating, buddy. Whether it's due to a small team or time constraints, the base is a missed opportunity, which I'm not sure if they've addressed in the series going forward. However, more interaction would be welcome. Imagine mini-games. You know, a game of cards where the characters tell tales of old. It would have added extra sauce and pull towards the protagonists. Sly steals from the rich, which, in the face of the law, is bad, and the French girl, Carmelita, will destroy everything to get him. It kinda reminds me of Frollo. Find her, even if I have to burn down all of Paris. It's funny, but damn it lady, the explosive pistol keeps failing. Does she know the meaning of insanity?
Same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time, it's gonna be different.
ending the game with a fair few vaults unopened was annoying. I honestly don't know if I'll go back to find them. It was frustrating when I came across the safe and Bentley would mock me. Though I did open some, I would have liked to have seen more of the book's moves. But the fact that I didn't need them to benefit my progression in the story, being that the bulk of the game was pretty straightforward. There is no hunger to return, which I find disappointing. Though, never say never, cause trophies.
Have a disease. That is very sick.
That wraps up the negatives. If you're a sicko whose heart only warms with negatives, this is your stop to leave us. The immediate impression I got is that visually I'm in love here. The thick cel-shaded lines are beautiful and timeless. The presentation is sharp and the 2D animation charmingly introduces the game. That's for sure. Kudos for not taking the tutorial mission seriously. I appreciate an overly meta tutorial. Explaining the blue aura around objects of stealth to be some sort of superpower is badass, unlike most games where the areas are painted just because the city planner was on one. The story is simple, yet pulls on the Disney strings of losing a parent early on, and the upbringing in an orphanage where Sly meets his friends for life and partners in crime. You can't complain about that.
Techno genius and strategist supreme, Ed Murray, part-time driver.
It's straightforward, endearing, and beautifully executed. These worlds are meticulously planned, and so apart from each other, each stage is fresh. This game blends stealth and platforming perfectly. I've never seen lasers and spotlights used in such interesting ways. Each stage ups the ante, gearing you up to the finale in the volcano, which is insane. The tower you climb while the lava rises makes use of everything the game has hit you with fittingly. The stages can't be given enough credit for their excellence. The shock of the large swamp creature chasing you in the jungle was awesome. Nimbly jumping through corridors of lasers is incredible. And good boss fights. Yes, a platformer with good bosses. Each boss felt different, with advanced stages, variations in attack. In one boss against the Gator, you had to pull off the rhythm game to get closer. In another you circle the panda, dodging his fire attacks. It's a breath of fresh air. Ultimately, Sly is an excellent protagonist and does the heavy lifting here. He narrates the story, undertakes the good missions, kisses Carmelita, and his dialogue is the best. Everything Sly touches turns to gold. Sucker Punch has created an iconic mascot and rightfully steals the show. Before we get to the verdict, leave a like, subscribe, though the ramblings of a madman don't matter. What would you say? Does Sly deserve a place next to Jak and Ratchet? The gates are there. Sly, will they open? This decision honestly was hard, and after enough thought I realised I shouldn't be delaying if the answer is yes. Now that the dust is settled, I must say no.
What?
Sly doesn't quite sit at the same table. This is a gem of a game, no doubt. Some of the platforming is arguably the best on PS2. The bosses are fantastic. The looks and presentation are timeless. There's no denying it's a gem. And I'm so happy to have finally played it. But what did I say at the beginning? The elite PS2 platformers weren't just tight controls, varied worlds and collecting. They needed character.
I know I've been selfish, but I can do better. I can change.
Not that simple.
And Jak and Daxter had the character of their world. Ratchet and Clank's character was their unlikely bond.
You're quite handy with your
Sly has Sly. He steals the show. The story is his story. The universe is there to appease and provide obstacles for his toolset. The other characters need more time to breathe and expand. Sly's world needs to show there's more to it than Sly. Without even googling, I can imagine Sucker Punch does just that, expand on the foundation they have created. If this conversation were about its trilogy, the answer might be different. But for now, no. Sly, you are not welcome at their table.